Hi everyone, welcome back to our English class. Okay, so in the last class we discussed the first part of the story, The Little Girl. We discussed first few paragraphs. Okay, so we stopped. Where did we stop? We stopped when Kezia's mother came into her room to ask about the papers she has taken. Okay, so let's continue. So that night, there was a hue and cry in the house. Okay, that night, when Kezia prepared her birthday gift for her father at night, there was a lot of sound in the house. Hue and cry means angry, protest, shouting, etc. Father's great speech for the Port Authority had been lost. Okay, and why such a noise is there? Okay, because her father's great speech for Port Authority had been lost. Okay, he lost his papers on which he prepared a speech. Rooms were searched, servants questioned. Finally, mother came into Kezia's room and all the rooms were searched by them and they called all the servants and questioned them. But didn't get an answer. They couldn't find the papers. And finally, mother came into Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on the table in our room. Her mother asked, have you seen the papers? Oh yes, she said. I tore them up for my surprise. So what did Kezia replied? She said that I saw the papers, I took it and I tore it into pieces for my surprise gift. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. And the mother was screamed, shouted, what? Come straight down to the dining room this instant. Come down at this moment itself, her mother ordered. And she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro. And she was dragged. Her mother pulled her down and her father was pacing to and fro means walking to and walking forward and backward with his hands behind his back. His hands were behind his back and he was walking forward and backward. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. So Kezia's mother explained everything to father. She took the paper and all. She explained. He stopped and stared at the child. So he stopped walking and looked at the child. Did you do that? He asked. Did you do that? No, she whispered. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damned thing. See that the child's put to bed this instant. And he ordered his mother, go to the room, go to Kezia's room and bring down the damned thing. Damned thing means that thing, the gift she has prepared. See that the child's put to the bed this instant. Put her to the bed this moment. Trying too much to explain, she lay in the shadow of the room watching the evening light to make a sad little pattern on the floor. And he sat in her room very sadly. Okay, she tried to explain, but her father didn't listen. Then father came into the room with a ruler in his hands, and later her father came to the room and he has a ruler on his hand. I'm going to beat you for this, he said. And she said that I'm going to punish you. I'm going to beat you. Oh, no, no, she screamed, hiding under the bedclothes. So she became very much feared and she said that no, father, no. And she hid under the bedclothes. He pulled them aside and he pulled the cloth, okay, bed sheet and all. Sit up, he ordered. So she was lying there, so he said, ordered, sit up and hold your hands and hold out your hands. You must be taught once and for all not to touch what does not belong to you. So her father says that hold out your hands, okay, stretch your hands. I want to beat you. I want to teach you that do not touch others things. Okay, I'm beating you in order to teach you do not touch others' things. But it was for your birthday, she said. Okay, it was for your birthday. Down came the ruler on her little pink palm. So he beat her on her palm. Hours later, when grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. So later, hours later, after some time, her grandmother wrapped her, covered her with a shawl and rocked, means rocked in the rocking chair, cradle. Rocking chair means cradle. Grandmother was sleeping, trying to sleep her. Okay. The child clung to her soft body. The child hugged the grandmother. What did God make fathers for? She sobbed and she was crying, and she asked her grandmother, why did God make fathers? Here is a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. So grandmother gave her an handkerchief to blow her nose. Go to sleep, pet. You will forget all about it in the morning. Okay, you sleep now. It will be all right. You will forget all these things in the morning. By morning. I tried to explain to father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. So grandmother says that I tried your father to explain everything, to convince your father, but he was not ready to listen tonight. He was very upset. But the child never forgot. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both hands behind her back and a red color flew into her cheeks. But the child didn't forget the incident. Next morning, she saw her father, but when she saw her father, she put her arms behind because of that fear. Okay, and his face become a red color because of the fear. The McDonald's lived next door. So now their neighbors, McDonald's living in the next door. McDonald's was their neighbor. They had 5 children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. Okay, so looking through the fence. Fence means wall. Okay, looking through the fence, she could see how McDonald's playing with his children. They have 5 children. The father with the baby Mao on his shoulders, 2 little girls hanging onto his coat pockets, ran round and round the flower birds, shaking with laughter, and she could see how they were playing. Once she saw the boys turn the hose on him and he tried to catch them, laughing all the time. Okay, so she was watching how McDonald's plays with his children. Okay, then she decided there were different sorts of father. At that moment she could understand there are different types of fathers. Her father is very rude and strict, but the father in the neighborhood, he is very playful. He always plays and enjoy with his children. So she understood there are different types of fathers. Suddenly one day, mother became ill and she and grandmother went to hospital. So one day, her mother fell ill and grandmother took her mother to the hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice the cook, and the little girl was only the cook Alice and the little girl were there in the house. That was all right in the daytime, but while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew suddenly afraid. Daytime it was okay for Kezia, but at night she had some problem. Okay, she suddenly became afraid. What will I do if I have a nightmare? Okay, at the time of sleeping, she asked her cook what I will do if I have a nightmare, a bad dream. She asked. I often have nightmares and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets whispery. So I cannot stay or sleep alone in this room. Whenever I have nightmares at while sleeping, I go to Johnny's bed. I cannot sleep alone. You just go to sleep, child, said Alice. Okay, pulling off her socks, and don't you scream and wake your poor pa. Okay, so but the cook said that you sleep now, but don't scream or shout while sleeping. Don't wake up your poor pa. Poor pa means your poor father. But the same old nightmare came. The butcher with a knife and a rope, who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, "Grandma, Grandma!" She woke shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. But when she slept, the same nightmare came, a butcher coming with a knife to kill her, and she shouted, "Grandma, Grandma." When she woke up, she saw that her father is beside her with a candle in his hand. "What's the matter?" he said. So he asked, "What is the matter? Why are you crying?" "Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want Granny." So she cried. She said that a butcher, a knife, and I want to go to Granny. He blew out the candle, bent down, and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. So what did her father do? He blew out the candle and took the child and went to his bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, then carefully tucked up the child. Okay, he put the paper away, and tucked up means covered up nicely. He covered her with blankets and all, and laid her on the bed. He lay down beside her. He also lay down beside the child, half asleep still with the butcher's smile all about her, it seemed. And they became sleeping, half asleep. Okay, at that time the nightmare again came. She crept close to him. She moved close to her father, snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt, and she became very much afraid. So snuggled means move into a comfortable position. Okay, she crept towards her father and held tightly to her shirt, means he hugged her father. She hugged her father. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still, and at that moment, all her fears, all of them have gone out. Okay, now the dark was not at all a problem. She is safe there. Okay, here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm, said father. So her father said that rub your feet against my legs, then you will get a warmth. Okay. Tired out, he slept before the little girl. He was very tired because of his work, and he went to sleep before the child sleeps. Okay. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all. So she began to think more about her father. Her poor father. Now she feels that her father is poor, not so big. First she said that her father is like a giant, isn't it? Now she feels that not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. There is no one to take care of him. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. Okay, he is harder than her grandmother, strict than her grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. But actually he is soft. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald. Okay, he worked so hard, that's why he is tired, and he that is why he is not like Mr. McDonald. Okay, when he came from office, he became too tired and he has no time to play with Kezia. That's why he became harsh. She had torn up all his beautiful writings, and she now understand the mistake she had done. Okay, she tore all his papers into pieces. It was a wrong thing. Now she could understand that. She stirred suddenly. She stirred suddenly means she moved suddenly and sighed. What's the matter? Asked her father. Another dream? And if her father recognized that, okay, even though he is sleeping, when she moved, he understood that and he asked, what's the matter? Another dream? Oh, said the little girl, my head is on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear. Okay, and she said that my head is on your heart and I can hear your heartbeats. Okay, what a big heart you have got, father dear. Big heart means his love, affection, everything she could feel now. That's why he says you have a big heart and I can feel it now, father dear. I can understand my mistake and I can now understand how affectionate you are, how much you love me, and I can understand that. Okay, by Catherine Mansfield. Okay, this is the story, the little girl. So first she is feared, afraid of her father, and later she understands why her father did so, and she could realize how much her father loves her. Okay, this is the theme of the story. Hope you all of you have understood that. Thank you.